Hello and welcome to Markets in Focus. My name is Joe Bell, and today I'm going to be walking you through some of the most interesting financial market themes that I'm observing. So there are a lot of interesting market themes to observe, and volatility has been incredible during the past week and a half. If you look at the S&P 500, for example, back on April 2nd, after Trump first announced tariffs, we had a two-day period where the S&P 500 declined more than 10%. That is only the fourth time in the history of the S&P 500 that's happened. This Wednesday, we got a lot of big news with Trump saying they're going to pause those tariffs for 90 days, cap them at 10% for every country in the world besides China, which tariffs still remain above 100% for China. Now, in response to that, the market was risk on. The S&P 500 rallied by its third largest amount since 1950, up 9.5%. We've seen some profit taking since then, but let's take a look at what's expected in terms of future returns. And then on top of that, a lot of fear about inflation and what tariffs are going to do to inflation in the future. But for March, we actually received a pleasant surprise. Core CPI was increased at its lowest level in 4 years. So seems like a while ago, but if you look at the April 2nd, last week's announcement by Donald Trump, the S&P 500 dropped more than 10% in 2 days, and we have entered a period of extreme volatility. And that is only the fourth time since 1952 that we've seen that large of a decline. October 1987, remember Black Monday, the crash, heavy volatility during then. November 2008, in the heart of the great financial crisis. And March 2020, right in the middle of the global pandemic and the economic shutdown. So pretty historic territory in terms of volatility. And with big downside was followed by big upside after Trump tweeted on Truth Social on Wednesday that the tariffs above 10% would be paused for every country globally besides China, whose tariffs jumped up above 100%. Every other country is capped at 10% during a 90-day negotiating period. We saw incredibly strong market breadth, massive amounts of buying volume, and the S&P 500 was up 9.5% in 1 day. That is not normal. In fact, that is the third largest gain by the S&P 500 since 1950. Only October 13th and October 28th, again, right in the middle of that financial crisis, those are the only days that exceed that 9.5%. On the chart here, we have the top 10 largest moves, which range from 6.5% all the way up to 11.6%. And you can see in the next 2 days to next week, actually returns are a little bit negative, and we did receive some selling after that announcement on Thursday. But the next month, and if you look out even further, a lot of these were around the general market bottoms and led to higher volatility and near-term profit taking. But longer term, we did have some strong returns off of 2020 financial crisis and 1987. But there could be short-term volatility. So core inflation, which excludes food and energy, which are very volatile, increased 2.8%. And that was well below the February growth rate of 3.1%. And that 2.8% was the lowest core inflation reading in 4 years. So tariffs, likely inflationary, but nobody knows how long and how high they're going to be for various countries. But March, really strong jobs report. March, really low inflation. So we're entering this period with pretty reasonable numbers in terms of inflation. But there's a lot of uncertainty with regard to China, one of our third largest trading partner globally. And we just don't know what the tariff rates are going to be after the negotiations during the next 3 months. And that uncertainty is already causing businesses and consumers to be patient and perhaps pause some of their spending right now. So outside of the markets, outside of tariffs, Trump's tweets, the trade war, is a company called Colossus revealed that 3 genetically engineered dire wolf puppies were born in the last year. Some scientists are debating that, but I'll let them determine that. But this species has been extinct for more than 10,000 years. So incredible advancements in science. I think this was perhaps how that Jurassic Park movie, for those of you that have seen it, this sounds like probably the beginning stages of that. With that, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.